I'm going to show you how fast you can design an office build out in HVAKR. Let's create the project. Put in the address. Oh, there it is. I'll start from template, commercial, office. Let's go. Weather looks good. Yep. Building categories look good. This is wood framed with fixed windows. Other roof, unheated slab. Mostly office space here. One space type I need to add is corridor. System criteria. Let's get my low pressure supply duct set up. Now I'm going to upload my sheet. Drop that in and upload. Import. Now I'm going to bring the sheet in. The scale is 1/16. Place it on the canvas here. This area is out of scope. This is going to be my build out area for this example. Let's tighten this up a little bit. Lock that. Now for my spaces. My first space, I'll use the rectangular tool, and I'm going to make sure to set the slab to slab height and the ceiling height for this level. It's going to be 13 feet and 9 feet. Great. Now I'm going to go ahead and create the rest of my spaces. All right, spaces are created. Let's knock out this corridor. Space type corridor. Looks good to me. Now these are all going to be office space types, and they're small, so I'm going to make sure I set the number of people default to 1, and the rest looks good. I'm actually going to copy this, and I'm just going to paste this to all my other office space types. So everything's defined here. Let's define the envelope. Assigning a wall, this is going to be my wood framed wall. Those are exterior walls, those are exterior walls, and that's that. Now I'm going to add my windows. Say these are 3x5s, fixed window, no shading, and I'm going to place those. All right, roof. Roof. Roof above all those, and slab. Okay, let's check that out. That's the portion that I'm designing to. Everything looks good there. Now I'm going to zone it. So let's say these are VAV zones as part of my build out here. And I'm going to put these 3 on a VAV. Corridor, that might be on a common system. I'll just set that on a separate zone. Okay, I've got my zoning done. I could even look at my loads and see how things are looking. Now let's put them on the existing system. So this being a build out, let's pretend there's a existing air handler. These are all going on. All right, and so this would be my block load right here for this build out. Just over 3 tons, which seems about right to me. So let's configure this with the way it's set up. My existing air handler, I would get this information from a survey. And in this case, let's say we got a cooling coil that is providing 55 degree here. and say there's a, you know what, I'm going to size the reheat coils on the VAVs to handle the entire heating load for these zones. So I'll leave the heating coil off there. That's good for now. For my VAVs, they're going to have reheat and they're going to supply 90-degree air in heating. No cooling, no return. There we go. So this is configured, and I can see now all of my CFMs for these spaces. Pretty basic. The exterior space is a little over 1 CFM per square foot. This corner space higher, interior space is lower. That all looks good. So I can go to my summary here, and I can look at these loads. I can print my report, but I'm going to jump to my dry side design and start designing this thing. So let's set some colors. Now the first thing I want to do is set registers. So with registers, we have a slick new register feature that we're developing called auto placement. And you may have noticed this new button here under registers. When I select a register, I can specify a throw, and then I can select spaces for which I'd like to automatically place registers. And then when I do that, it's going to, boom, populate these spaces with my registers. So now I don't have to go through and manually click these. You can see by default it kind of centered it directly in the space. In larger spaces that require multiple registers, you'll see that placement occur. So this speeds up the process a good bit. From here I can even tweak this. But that automatically placed all my registers for me. I can turn on my annotations like I did and confirm all of those look good and continue. So after I place my registers, I'll typically turn on a zone view and place my terminal units. So VAV1 is over here. I'm going to go ahead and start placing these VAVs. So this one is going to go here, roughly. Excellent. Now I'm going to place my medium pressure supply mains, and I'll start with the riser. So if this is an existing system, maybe I'm tapping off of an existing supply riser. For the sake of this, let's put it in the HVAC room here. Confirm this goes from level 1 to level 2. It's medium pressure supply. Now I'm going to single line out the skeleton of my mains here. So this will go up the corridor. It's going to branch off to these VAVs, and I'll make room for them and adjust this as needed. So it might be something like that. Once I have the skeleton in place, I may need to adjust the location of these terminal units. Okay, now I'm going to connect the rest of my medium pressure supply. Excellent. So some of these VAVs, in fact most of them, I'm going to tap off the side of the plenum like so. So I'm just going to adjust where this outlet is on the VAV. Okay, now let's do low pressure supply. So just to quickly remind myself, this is zone VAV3, these are 2, 1, 4, and 5. So my low pressure supply for this one. Okay, ductwork is connected. I can switch to a double line view here, and then when I hit size, I'll get all my sizing for this ductwork. So there we go, sizing is done all the way up through the main. I can also hit this calculate pressure button and see where my critical path is and look at the external static, 0.47, going from here to the path of most resistance, this diffuser here. And I can go in there and I can start to fine tune this, which may or may not be needed for the scope of work. So that's supply done. I'm going to go ahead and do my return as well. So in this case, it's going to be plenum return, I just need a return register in each of these offices, and I'm going to serve them all from a central return grill connected to a return riser. So let's say the return riser is over here. So I'm going to place that, goes up and down. And in this case, there's going to be a return duct branching off, and there's going to be a return grill and inlet coming in for the floor. So there's that. But you'll notice this return grill is shown as 0. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to manually assign the spaces for which this return is responsible. So when I manually assign that, I'm going to say, hey, you got to return air for all of these spaces. Now we'll see that there's 1600 CFM of return in this area. Now just to draw this out, I can place my registers where they're going to go. Okay, that's reflected. So this gives me CFMs, this gives me duct sizes. I can calculate my pressures and get the external static from those. All good stuff. I need to hit size to actually size this return duct there, 18-inch round. I can also use this to adjust my sizing as needed. Use this as a ductilator and say, hey, this is actually going to be an 18 by 18. Maybe for the riser as well. So you can make adjustments like so. This might be rectangular as well, and you can adjust that as needed. So there we go. It's been, I think, 20 minutes, and I've done all my load calculations, my zoning, and I can even export a nice PDF of my duct design. There we go. And we're out the door. We got a fully annotated drawing here with a lot of the critical information we would need to design the project or estimate the project. If this is something that I was bidding on, 20 minutes, and I've got all the information I need to do a really good duct estimate and equipment estimate in minimal time.